Suicide in York County is at an epidemic level. Meanwhile, STD rates in Philadelphia are still high. Free school lunches might be back on the menu. Also, here's what happens to the butter sculpture post-farm show. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. Suicide in York County is at an epidemic level, reports the York Dispatch. According to co-founder and director of suicide prevention of York County, Cindy Richard, the area actually has one of the highest per capita suicide rates in the state. Which is why the county got a $300,000 grant from the Department of Veteran Affairs to help not just veterans, which make up almost 7% of York County's total population, but anyone who may be thinking about taking their own life. Part of this money will be put toward assembling a suicide mortality review committee, which will try to find the root causes of suicide in order to mitigate it. According to an annual inner body report, Philadelphia has the second highest rates of STDs in the US, reports PennLive. It used to be number 1, if that's any consolation. That spot was taken by Detroit this year. The country as a whole has been experiencing a huge issue with STDs in recent decades, leading right up to the pandemic. And while the latest CDC data has shown a 1.8% drop in rates, which is the first time in a while, levels are still far too high. 90% higher than they were in 2004, in fact. Inner Body suggests education as well as, quote, renewed budget priorities, unquote, as some of the steps officials can take in order to get these rates down. Free school lunches could be back on the table for students in the fall, states the Tribune Review. State Senators Lindsey Williams and Judy Schneck intend to reintroduce the Universal School Meals legislation, which will resurrect the program in not just public schools, but ones that participate in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs, too. The state provided free school meals during the pandemic thanks to federal COVID money, but once that money ran out, free lunches were off the menu. However, students at state public schools do qualify for free meals if their family income is 130% of the federal poverty level. A team is currently working on finalizing a new cost estimate for this year that would reflect updated formulas, but as soon as that's done, the bill will be ready to make its first steps. Said Public Policy and Legislative Chair for the School Nutrition Association of PA, Nicole Melia, quote, "Hungry kids can't learn." The annual Pennsylvania Farm Show has ended, says Fox 43. So what's to become of the 1,000-pound butter sculpture? Well, I'll tell you. The sculpture, which this year was a cow, is going to be taken to a farm in Juniata County and recycled into energy. Basically, the butter gets melted down, mixed with manure and other food waste, and voila, methane gets created. That methane then goes into generators the farm has on site that power the community. Enough for about 500 homes every day. Said the farm's owner, Brett Renford, quote, "This tells a wonderful story in the dairy industry in Pennsylvania about what farms can do." That wraps up today's episode. For even more news, check out PennLive.com. And please don't forget to rate this podcast and to email me at todayinpa@PennLive.com with any thoughts you may have. Thanks in advance, and of course, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and see you tomorrow for some more Today in PA.